he was like, I want you to be my girlfriend. But if you cannot be my girlfriend, can we have kids together and I'll pay you 1 million yen? I was like,
Hi, welcome to the Black Experience Japan's Melanated Files. My name is Ranzo, and the purpose of this series is to highlight the Black people living in Japan. Who are they? We share their stories. Remember to find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the Black Experience Japan, and subscribe to this channel for weekly videos on the Black Experience in Japan. Let's get into the interview.
My name is Margaret Thatcher. I am from Kenya, currently living and studying in Japan at Yokohama National University. I'm studying urban creative technologies, which is basically engineering. I got a scholarship from a Shinaga organization, and through the scholarship I managed to know a little bit about Japan, and I decided to choose as a study destination. Wow, the process of the scholarship, that's a really, really interesting question. It's really tough because basically my scholarship organization, it's a Japan-based organization, and it picks one person from each and every part of Africa. So it's a really tough, you just go there, you get to find the online application, you apply, and then if you're shortlisted as one of the candidates, they shortlist 5 people, and basically you have to go there and you do the interviews, and also you do an exam. Actually, it's just one person, so I was just there writing the exam, doing the interview, doing it my own way. I didn't know that I was gonna get it, but luckily enough, I got it. Being a student in Japan, actually, I'm quite advantaged. The reason as to why I'm saying this is because there are not as many Black people, especially African students, in the university. So apparently we're just 2 Africans in my program. And it's very interesting because you get a lot of opportunities from, especially with scholarships, and all, because they're specialized scholarship for just foreigners or Black students or African students, to be specific. So it's really that really encourages me to study in Japan, knowing that I'm quite special in a way. Yeah. And another thing also is that there's a lot of pressure, especially in terms of reports, and if you're sponsored, if you get a scholarship from the school, you have a lot of things to do, like you have to keep up with good grades. So it's really tough, but at the same time, if you're in an international program, it's really interesting. And also something I also notice is that Japanese students are quite shy. When they look at you, they don't really want to talk to you that much, but once you talk to them and you get to know them, they talk to you. But later, the next day, you have to remind them, oh, you this person. But if they see something unique, maybe my hair, they'll be like, oh, I remember you. Yeah, so it's really funny. But I'm really enjoying my program because it's so diverse. The difference between our Kenyan education and the Japan education. Basically, I went to a Kenyan university for 1 year, and I realized that it's really intense. In Japan, as compared to Kenya, I think the first year is really, really intense, and I got so much things to do. You cannot miss classes. It's a very important part in the Japanese education. As compared to classes are necessary in Kenya, they're quite important, but since there's a large number of students in one course, it's quite tough. You can easily miss classes, but in Japan, we just like about 12 students in a class, so it's you cannot miss a class. Yeah, it contributes a lot to your grade, and that's one difference that I noticed in about the Japanese education. And a lot of reports. Exam is not that important in my program, so we write a lot of reports, we do a lot of presentations with more of hands-on experience, and we do a lot of training, as compared to Kenya, which was more of exam-based, and all we can do is you just miss classes, but you have to study for the exams and you know what's going on. Urban creative technologies is about urban city, you're developing towns. But my type of engineering, I'm dealing with infrastructure. So it's basically civil engineering, but I'm dealing more with infrastructure, building of roads, structures, and all that. But in the process, it's a diverse course because we get to explore other engineering like mechanical engineering and some parts of chemical engineering. So it's really diverse, but my major focus is on infrastructure. My program is an English program, yeah, but apparently I think I really wanted to, if I knew before, I think I would have rather gone the Japanese way and studied in Japanese. And in case, just ask my scholarship organization to just enroll me into a Japanese language school, and then I study in Japanese. So I think that would have been better. I would have gained more, since there are no many lecturers in that can teach in English in Japan. So it's really it's tough sometimes to understand what they're saying, because they sometimes mix English and Japanese. So you have to work on your Japanese sometimes, because I'm studying engineering in English, which is really tough. So sometimes you have to, some of them teach in Japanese, so you just have to understand and follow the lesson. What I love the most about Japan is the people. I find them, even though they're not really familiar with Africans, or let me say black people, they tend to, like, for example, if they see something unique, sometimes they approach me and they're like, oh, sugoi egao, like, you have a very great smile, and I like your facial structure. So, and also they will be like, oh, your hair is so nice, and then try to take a picture of it, and later they want to find out more from you. I find it's for me, it's interesting, because I never used to experience. It's a new experience. I love new things, so I find it really interesting. And Japanese people also, they most of them are kind, especially the girls. If you ask for direction, they will tell you where you're going. Some might be scared, but they do. They're friendly as compared to the guys, to the dudes. So I really love that, and it's really chilled. And another thing is, I also love a kind of a cool environment. Japan doesn't have so many issues, like it's not all that crazy. Depending on places you go to, it's so chilled. You have no problem. I mean, like, it's so safe. I can walk at night, and I rarely find people trying to, I rarely feel unsafe in Japan. And if I lose something, I get it. I've never lost something in Japan that I don't get, So that's one thing that I really love about Japan. I mean, there's a lot of things I love about Japan as compared to what I don't love about Japan. I've just been here for 1 year, so I'm yet to experience more. But as for what I know right now, I think I find it, for example, I find it difficult at first I used to find it difficult to find my makeup. And it really kind of, I didn't really like that. But I've been trying to know people, and I've tried my best. I've tried to overcome that challenge, but it's still a challenge. It's not yet solved. I never take things to heart. I'm one person who just ignores stuff. So I've not really experienced an intense something that would say, I hate this. I really hate this. Yeah. The funniest thing that has ever happened to me in Japan, wow, a lot. So one of the funniest things that has ever happened to me was when I was in a club in Kobe. So it was a new year, and then I was all about having fun. I was having fun. And then this girl comes to me, and she's like, I was wearing some dress that kind of exposed my boobs, I think. So she was looking at me at that time, and then I'm like, oh, what's going on? She tried speaking to me. By then I wasn't speaking any Japanese, So she was trying to communicate with me, and she didn't understand. And then when she was looking, I was like, what's wrong? And sugoi, it's I like your boobs. I'm like, oh, really? And then she wants to touch. I'm like, no. I find it so weird. And then she comes, and then when she was leaving, I was standing somewhere, I was watching some people, and when she wanted to say bye, and then she comes and touched them without my permission. I'm like, oh, bye, because she was telling me bye, but touching them. I found it really weird because she was like, is this really real, Is this real? I'm like, it's real, it's not fake. So it was a funny experience to me. Another thing was also my experience with wasabi. Wasabi is like, it's a pepperish ingredient in Japan. So when I first came to Japan, I didn't know this was wasabi. I was like 3 days old in Japan. And then I went there, took the entire wasabi into my mouth. It was really funny. And then I took it, and everything just became, even my face became watery because I didn't know what it was. It was really, really funny. And then I just ran into the sink and I was like drinking a lot of water and like removing all the wasabi. And people knew it was wasabi, so they waited for me to do it. That was so bad. Ever since then, I've hated wasabi. One thing, girls, if you come to Japan, please try to make friends. So through friends, they can recommend you. Don't just make Japanese friends, but try to make friends with black girls so they can recommend you to some people they know. At first, I didn't know who was going to make my hair, but when I got to know people, then I got recommendation. And please don't, just be free, express. If you see someone with good hair, just ask her, where did you make your hair? That helps. So I met this girl from Ghana, and I just asked her randomly, who makes your hair? And she recommended me to someone. So I make my hair basically in a place. I stay in Kanagawa Prefecture. So I make in Odakyu Sagamihara. If you need someone to make your hair, hit me up. And also, there's also a group called Black Women in Japan on Facebook. So if you can join that, it's helpful if you need anything like, hair conditioner. Some people say they cannot use Japanese products. There are saloonists there who helps too. Like if they want customers, they say, I recommend you. So they are there to help you if you ask any questions. So you can join Black Women in Japan, and trust me, yeah, you will get all the help you need. This is not necessarily an advice, but it's just something that really motivated me to where I am today. When I was back in Kenya, my mom said something when my sister disappointed her at some point, and then she said that, why do I have girls? I wish I had all boys. So I wanted to come out different. I wanted to show her that even us, we can make it. This has always been a motivation. And I've always it has always driven me. Like if I'm doing something, I just give it my best, because I want to disapprove people out there that even ours, or I'm trying to tell my mom that I can make her proud and she can be happy through me. So it really motivates me. Anytime I do something, I think about that and I say, I give it my best. So just go out there, even if people try to discourage you, even if people don't get to understand you, just go out there and try to show them that, even though you're doing it for yourself, but try to show them that you can do it, and you just disapprove them. Do your thing, go your way, be in your own world, just make the best out of that. And that really pushes me to go on. My favorite Japanese food is katsudon, but recently I've started loving okonomiyaki. It's really, especially when I went to Osaka, it was really, really good. It was my first time. I've always been eating too much of katsudon. So in case you don't know what katsudon is, it's like some rice topped up with eggs and pork. Yeah, it's really good, really good. So unhealthy, but I don't really care. But it's so good. I've not had so much experience, but dating in Japan is not that difficult, depending on what you're interested in or who are you interested in dating. So if you're interested in dating Japanese, it's quite difficult because they're hazukashi, like they're shy, and to approach a black girl, their mentality, the image they have, it's really, they find us, they think we are really strong. So recently I had when I was just like 3 months old in Japan. So I had this guy who approached me, and he was like, I want you to be my girlfriend. But if you cannot be my girlfriend, can we have kids together and I'll pay you 1 million yen? I was like, I was so shocked. It was really surprising. I didn't really expect something of that sort. I thought it was really embarrassing at the same time funny. So I just walked out. But basically, Japanese men in general are really shy. I'll be honest about that. They're really shy and they find it difficult to approach unless you you join a dating site. That's when they find it easier to talk to you, because most of them are onto dating sites and they find it easier. But when it comes to other races, yeah, they're more open. They're really ready to ready to go out there and approach you, and you will be finding lots of advances from people. Advice I would like to share to anyone looking forward to coming to Japan, or Kenyans looking forward to coming to Japan. Please be open-minded. Don't listen to what people say that much. Just come and experience everything. Come like you know nothing and just come there and experience and see it for yourself, because a lot of people will deceive you. Another person's experience is not the same experience as yours. So just come here, be open-minded, experience everything. Just go out there. That's how you get to learn Japan. But if you just stay and just sit down there and like you don't really care, trust me, you'll find Japan so boring. So just just go out there, get crazy. Please, that's one thing I've learned about Japan. Another thing too is that I wish someone would have told me how important Japanese was in Japan. I was happy I'm coming to an English program, but I wish I was being told, but because I never heard, at first I didn't really have an interest in coming to Japan. I wanted to go somewhere else, but when I saw the opportunities available in Japan, I came here. So I've realized how important this language is. Don't come here and it's okay. Even if you want to speak English, try and learn some Japanese. It's important because Japanese will get attracted to you. They will try talking to you once you speak their language. They will get more friendly when they say, oh, Nihongo Josu desu. You will always hear, even if you say a simple Ohayo gozaimasu, you will always hear that. So it's really quite important that you learn the language. Some people ignore it and then they later complain that, oh, I found Japan too boring. But if you speak the language, then everything will be all right. Yeah, I have an intensive, when I say intensive, it's really intensive Japanese classes in school. So it's really intensive. At first I thought Japanese was so easy, but as you advance, because there's different levels of Japanese, as you advance, it gets more and more difficult, and you want to give up because there's kanji. You think you just, and then there's grammar, there's essay, you have to do presentations in Japanese. It's really tough, but that's basically how I've been learning. You have to gambatte ne, you have to push on forward and just do it. It's really important. And also there are language schools available, so if you wanna, there are also people who are willing to do some language exchange. So if you can join some apps for language exchange like Hello Talk, it can really help. So that's how basically I've been learning my Japanese. What are my plans going forward? I know there's no much representation of Kenya in Japan as compared to China, and I believe that there's a lot that we can gain from each other as two distinct countries. So my basic aim here is to connect. I want to work in an international company that is interested in investing in Kenya and also that can gain. So I'm basically, I want to connect the two to bring Japan and Kenya closer together, though they are it's different. It's two different countries. So basically my aim is to just connect the two countries together. And finally, if I can become an ambassador of Kenya to Japan, that would be really great. Yeah, so that is my biggest aim here in Japan. When I made a decision to come to Japan, I didn't really have I didn't have much information about Japan. So basically, if you talk about Japan, especially in Kenya, to be specific, all they think about is high tech. So I didn't really have any other knowledge about Japan. So I did some research, and through vlogs and blogs and internet, I did a lot of research. But some of the things that I got to, I was quite pessimistic. Some of the things like dating life in Japan, you find it difficult to find a boyfriend in Japan. So when I came here, it was totally different, and so basically the purpose of this is that I'm just trying to say that just come open-minded. You don't have to do any research. Just if you want to do research, maybe do research of what you have to bring over here, but just come here open-minded and explore, experience it yourself, because your experience, as I said, might be different from another person's experience. So they're just talking about from their own point of experience, but some of them might be exaggerated, So just come here and experience it yourself and just judge it by yourself. Right from the moment I get to the airport, I was only black there. They were just like a minority. I was the only black. So I realized that I was in a country where probably blacks are not there are not many blacks in this country. So right from the moment going right to the bus, I remember this kid who was looking at me. He was hiding behind the seats, and then he was looking at me, taking a glance, and then going back. So that was really funny. And I got into the street of Tokyo, and I was like the only black there, the only black girl. It was just so funny. You're just walking there, but you cannot see someone of the same color with you. And also I've had instances where, especially from kids, there are moments I do presentation about my country in schools. So you heard questions, like some weird questions. Being that I'm from Africa, I'm from Kenya, I've heard instances where they ask me questions like, oh, do Kenyans use phones? Do they walk naked? Do you see lions on the street? I'm like, oh, so these questions actually really appear. I've always read about people asking, but I experienced it. So how it is really represented, or how Africa is represented in Japan, is not that accurate to what the real. So I think it's interesting at the same time, but sometimes it's really depressing. And sometimes women, you find people approaching me on the street, they want to touch my hair. I came with really a bulky hairstyle, and everyone was like so curious about it. If it's my real hair, they always ask. I think most of us experience that. And sometimes they will be like, let's take a picture together. I love your height, I love your legs. So it's because apparently Japanese girls have a thing for long legs. Yeah, that's what I was told. I think so far so good in Japan. I mean, I'm one person who doesn't really take things to heart, as I already said, and I feel so unbothered sometimes. So far my experience in Japan has been good, and through what I face, I learn a lot. But I really don't take them to heart. I take them as a learning experience, and I get to explain to them, and they get to like me after that. You just don't have to take everything too personal. Sometimes you just gotta understand, why is this person like this? So if you wanna link up on Facebook, I use Facebook mostly. So on Facebook, Thatcher Agendia. So Thatcher like Margaret Thatcher, and Agendia like Agendia. So that's my name on Facebook. And if you want to connect on Instagram, Thatcher James. I know you might be wondering why two different names. I just love it that way. So James, Jimes. Yeah, that's my Instagram. Those are the things I used. On LinkedIn, I'm Margaret Thatcher. So that's my official name.
Thank you so much for watching. If you or someone you know would like to be featured, send us a message through our Facebook page or Instagram at the BlackXJP, or via our website, blackxjp.com. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.